Welcome back, everybody. What's up? What should I call it? Studio here. We're growing, lovely. But I realize, going over my video, I realize that I don't be introducing myself to you guys and letting you guys know what this channel is all about. Okay, first, let me introduce myself and not get carried away. My name is Cassidy Codrington. I'm 32 years old. Um, one of seven children. I currently live in North Carolina, USA, but I'm from Clarendon, Jamaica, Maypen. I would love to say a sleepy little village, but the people them in Dampi are magical creatures, you know what I mean? Has a village called Dampi. I grew up in Dampi. I studied business management and principle of business in high school. And after high school, I studied in business management and sociology, which I'm very fond of. I still keep up with my research and I love sociology. In the United States, I study engineering, which kind of works with business management because it's just basically managing production step or process steps with finer details and refined numbers and accuracy and all of that. But yeah, so I guess I'm adapting business management and I like, you know, civil engineering, construction. I like any engineering as a matter of fact, mechanical engineering. I'm not fond of electrical engineering, that's sorcery right there. I don't mess with electrical engineering, but yeah, um, I like to read a lot. I read a lot of articles, financial articles. I'm not a very political guy. Economic guy, history buff. I'm about that, and I know politics go under and in economy, but it doesn't really. So I don't really mess with it. Okay, so that is me. You know what I mean? And I'm a Gemini, so I really like sharing information. I really like talking, and I'm hoping that we can this video do well, so we can do a lot of these sessions where I can share information that I feel like I have and things like that. So okay, what are we doing here? But before I tell you what we do here at what you may call it studio, I'm gonna give you a little bit of my backstory, and it might be long, so get ready for it. Okay, I was born in 1993, and I'm from Jamaica. People know this, but they don't really understand what it means. And Jamaica is a British colony of the British Empire, and from the year after World War II ended, they had something called the Cold War, and most of people, it was so quiet that even people who live in the Caribbean, it's later on in my studies I find out why our political process is so violent and tumultuous. It was because they were still basically fighting a war for resources and control over resources in the Caribbean and the western side of the world. So that lead to Jamaicans as citizens, like people. I can tell you how beautiful Jamaica is. I can tell you that the sun never stops shining even when there's a storm outside. Because when there's a storm, we all come together and we cook and we drink and we laugh, and it feels like the sun is right outside, which it is. The island, the Sunshine Island, man. Uh-huh. I can tell you how beautiful it is when the sun rises from behind the Blue Mountain, and not even Leonardo da Vinci can capture beauty. This refined, this beautiful. I can tell you how the falls, even though they splash and make a lot of noise, it's still graceful. Okay, Jamaica is the loveliest place on earth. I can tell you about the food. And I've won a little bit of money since I've came to America, and I've had the crab legs and the filet mignons, and I've had it $150 a plate, $300 a plate before, and Jamaica food is still the best. Still would take it to that Scotch bonnet pepper, tin mackerel, and a plate of rice. Still the best. But Jamaica not so beautiful for us, the people. You understand me? Us as natives, we've seen. I've laid in my bed as a boy and hear men outside crying for help, crying for their life, and wake up tomorrow, bag up the body, and we carry on because it's just a normal day in a third world country. I don't want to scar you with my backstory because that's all there is. As I said, growing up, there was like we see like political dance. I don't know. The one person I've ever hear attempt to talk about the condition of Jamaica, and it was Chris Rock in one of his comedy special. And he's like, Jamaica beautiful, but then you'd have to watch that special. Only one person, and only one person. But growing up, the order of the day, and it wasn't only for Jamaica, and this is what they was fighting for. The, it was for our freedom. With parents, no matter who it was, if you're here today, somebody made a sacrifice with the hope that we, the people, would be free. The world of yesterday, just like how you're toiling away today, hoping that your children will be free. And we do make advances, and it do seem like they a little bit more room, but they keep changing the rule of the game. They keep moving the bar. You understand me? We're supposed to be with the way I remember it, people. And there's a fog of forgetfulness around the world. Very foggy memory. The goal when you go and buy a refrigerator, you buy a refrigerator because you want to save time. And you save time by putting your food that you harvest in there and you preserve it longer so you have to work less to produce more. When you get a stove to reduce your work labor. You get the stove because, hey, I'm going to not go outside and have to catch a wood fire and then have to fight the elements to keep the pot cooked. We can food because it's supposed to save time on cooking. So why are we spending more time at work today? Well, people, we out the dark part of it because now we get to what you may call it studio. We are here to facilitate the evolution of the revolutionists of yesterday. Okay? If you remember the I don't want to because it's not racial, it's revolution. But if you remember the struggle of the civil rights movement, if you remember the struggle of the KKK clan, you're supposed to be here because everybody yesterday was fighting for the freedom of their belief today. And at some point, somebody told us that, hey, we could all be free, we could all have it. And we started playing this game called society. And we started playing the game when Henry Ford set up the first factory. And I think 2020 signaled the end of the industrial era. I think we are in what is called the data era, the smart age, AI, quantum computer, and autonomous mobiles. Factory work is over, people. So I am here to tell you to save the few. I am here to save the few who want to get on the earth ship and kind of segregate themselves from the monstrosity that society is becoming. Okay. Uh, I'm a very deep guy, as I say. I'm a sociologist. I study, I research, under the teacher's tutelage, we study Durkheim's theory, we study Malthus's theory, society behavior, and things like that. So I'm not just coming from a place of random talking. I read a lot of articles by qualified individuals, and we have to remember, we have to stay free. But how do we plan to do that? Well, in my research, people, and as I said, this is why I started my channel many, many years ago. In my research, I find out that the best way to win a game, the best way to win a game is not to play it. Can I hear somebody in the back say it for me, please? The best way to win a game, the spectator never lose. If the spectator bet on the team, then he automatically becomes a part of the team and he's automatically playing the game. I said, if you go and you sit and you watch the game and only watch the game, you cannot lose. Okay? So, in a society, and too, I like to emphasize this. I don't get to see my children a lot. I do use the channel as like a model, hoping that they watch and then I know me of some type of understanding of the type of man daddy is. Cool. So, the game of society, and I'm trying to break it down because people be losing. We don't have to lose if you don't play. You go to work. When you get in your car, you need a registration because they're using public facility. If the officer have to come in your house, then he needs a warrant because that is private space. When you're at home in your bed, you're no longer playing the game. A freedom will slowly starting to lose. So it's like we used to play the game whenever we go outside, but they realize they can take more and more advantage, and so that is why you have cops just start to break into people's house, the random raids and stuff, because they keep taking away more. If I am right, if my studies are correct, chain reaction, it doesn't take long to see the future. We're going to hit a point in society where maybe we lose we mind where we do it to all citizens, but we're gonna, instead of a ankle bracelet, they have the proper monitoring thing for you. They're gonna plant a chip on top of your pulse, and this chip is gonna can tell when you sleep, when you're awake, when you're doing drugs, when you're having sex, when you're angry. The chip is going to tell when you're angry, and if you're getting angry, they can call you and calm you down. It will be a very passive aggressive future. They won't even need guns. I'm telling you, as I said, if you KKK, you need to be here too, because I said they gonna take your guns, bro. They's gonna take guns from everybody. They're gonna declaw the wolf, man, defang the lion, or whatsoever you call it. Because I mean, I don't know what it is, but based off how human behaved 20 years ago versus what we're doing now, you understand me? I'm trying to get into fitness, and I see my wife with an Apple Watch, and I am telling you, there is no privacy out there. Not trying to get carried away. We're staying on topic. I said the channel is here for us to enjoy freedom and the outdoors. I'll title this video "The Tale of the Old Guard" because I remember Walmart used to be 24 hours before COVID. Just 5 years ago, I operate a very successful landscaping business. Lowe's used to be open late. There was a pull towards us. If you had a business, you could go to Lowe's at like essentially 10, 11 o'clock at night, prep for work tomorrow. The opportunity to really be productive was like, and they changed the rule in 2020. As I say, factories, they literally closed down the work because it was done. 2020 was about COVID because I don't want to ruffle any feathers, and I'm playing the game for my children. So whatever they say 2020 was, but I can tell you this too. They closed all factories They close everything, grind to a halt because they didn't need it anymore. We're playing a new game. That is why I'm here. We're playing the game of bits, gigabytes, and lights. You understand me? Now you need to be productive on the internet. Now you need to be remote. Now you need excessive creativity because the factories now we mine. What they already unearthed. We all right. Before World War One and Two, you had colonialism and the era of exploration. That is when they mined everything they can from the earth. So they know all the diamonds, the gold, the uranium, plutonium, magnesium, beryllium, all the them. They located it, they kill who they needed to kill and eliminate who they needed to eliminate to secure these elements. Now, what you do when you secure elements, you have to manufacture them, you have to take the raw material, and that is why I tell you I'm a business major and time manage and production management. So you take the raw material from the last 100 years and you have these people from the next 100 years. So and true story engineering, city engineer, they plan in 100 year span. So when you think you get up as a criminal and you can outsmart society with your 5 minute plan, bro, the time you get, they are thinking 10 men deep. Their great, 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 great grandfather was thinking about the things you are thinking, trying to do now, and they have refined it. So the first they fought for the resources of the earth, then they fought to set up factory. Now that the products are ready, it's time to put them to use. Understand me? I'm a deep guy, guys. That's why it took me so long to really come to the internet. I don't really like opening up, but as I say, I'm trying to so you can understand me and thing like that. And that's what led me to a YouTube channel. Society keep changing the game, so we need to stop playing it. My ear is not fashion. Uh, I observe a religious belief called Rastafarianism, and it is based off the fact that the last emperor of Ethiopia did not believe in technology or the future. Colonial globalization is bad. It is not good. One of the things to prove that colonialization is bad, Jamaica and the Caribbean is only special because we are basically isolated African specimen that who have not been basically we're preserved like jam. Understand me? Brought to the western side of the world for observation. The only reason why we have any type of value are is because at some point they had to stop interfering with our development. At some point they had to leave us alone. So then you just have like 25 nations with African tribes just sitting there, kind of growing in their own unique way. And then you get this awesome, boom, tropical Guyanese, Asians. And big up to Haiti. As I say, I'm real. I can't come here, guys. I could go and withdraw some money from brokerage and put on stuff on my table and tell you fuck her, but I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Um, what inspire? I'm gonna tell you what inspired me after this. So let's finish with why I built the channel. And why I build the channel basically is it's just very deep. So we can stop there for today. Just not to ramble off, just not to. So we are hoping that as the old guard, remembering how they build the world, what they're doing, looking at it, scrutinizing it, do not play the game, do not go into there. They don't stop. They can stop. Don't build no more computer chips for them. Don't help them mix no more vaccine. Take your pride, your study private. Understand me? Because there's a way where they can get what they want and we get what we want. Whoever is building society, whatever they are building, they can come to us as subcontractors on our life instead of holding us hostage like slaves. So if you're a scientist and you have a good, chemical that can help do something, don't go to a corporate factory, go and try and keep your research private. Get a contract where your children them and your children them can get lifetime benefits, and eventually we all can be free. I could go deeper and tell you that money is an illusion and time is also an illusion. Be very direct. If you want apples, do not go to work and shovel fucking garbage. Find an apple tree, bargain with the owner of the apple tree, and get apples. Live your life. Over here at What You May Call It Studios, we'll shoot and do anything to stay free. Whatever you may call it. Understand me? Okay, so how do you stay free, people? How do we? Well, a few people over the COVID era, a few people over COVID have decided to, I wouldn't say start a new wave, but move back out. You know what I mean? If and this is just so heavy and deep for me to explain. I mean, I'll have to do it in part two or do a next segment, and or we just keep a couple of these vlogs and I try to explain to you how to navigate society, because on the surface, if you want to make it light, we can say this channel really helps with the financial freedom. But financial freedom requires a doctorate, people. I'm telling you, if you want to be financially free, that means you want your numbers to be better than a doctor in business. You want your numbers to be better than the CEO of what's Elon Musk fellow. When you get up and go to work, you're effectively competing with these people. You have some people who are aware of that, and so they're like, the fight is unfair. Why can't we get ahead in life? But I'm gonna tell you why we cannot get ahead in life, because you're playing their game, you're making their sacrifices. You want to get up, walk into a man's house, open his cabinet, mix flour, bake bread, and then leave with half of it. Listen to yourself. You're gonna get up, clock in, get on the boss's equipment, take the boss's tools, take the boss's resources, make whatever you want, and then sit down and hope that you and the boss get rich together. Come on, people. What you may call it studios, we are here. If you find this video, we're going to embark on a beautiful journey if you have not already been on board with us. This is beautiful here. If you want to escape, if you want that financial freedom, people, you watch my videos, them, stay tuned to our face-to-face vlog, and we can work something together, because I don't know, it's a system, it's an algorithm. We can't defeat it. We can't, matter of fact, we can't defeat it. What you do is, I hope, as I say, as a sociologist, I hope we can contain society. As I say, if they are using contracts, we must be better in contracts. We must, as I said, start negotiating the terms of our labor better on a worldwide scale. You don't have to be a scientist anymore. Your AI is here. You can't, you don't have to do any of that. What you need to do is have common sense right now. That's the only thing can save you right now. And we have a lot of that going on over at What You May Call It Studios. So we've been working on our journey to freedom, and most of us escape the pressures and burden of society the last 5 years, because you have turned your life around, because during COVID pandemic, if you was smart enough, you would have checked out. Before COVID, I run a business like 5 years before COVID, or 3 years before COVID. And I realized the game of contract. Whenever you do a contract, no matter if you're a celebrity, if you're a cleaner, if you own a cleaning company in America, 25% discount automatically. So right away, the rules of thumb is that everybody work at 75% of the labor. The taxman, and then the taxman come if I'm saying it, he fuck you in three. One, two, three. Federal, city, and municipal, your county, whatever it goes. And so you have to pay these taxes. You're down already. Operation costs, you're down again. You already gave away your profits and stuff like I said, people, we have to become more adept at this. And this is, as I said, that's why my crowd's so small. I guess there's only a small number of people who's going to want to embark on a journey like this. Like, freedom, total freedom. It starts with, and I'm gonna tell you self freedom today. As I said, this is basically the thesis of my channel. I had some very good teachers in high school. Big up to my literature teacher, Mr. Chase Robotham. Very good teacher, very good teacher. You know what I mean? So this is the thesis for our channel. We're here because the pendulum is always swinging. The rules of society is always changing, and so we as an individual we're going to embark on a different way of life where we maximize the potential of our resources around us and stay away from corporate greed and basically society. I'm not saying to go off and start the hippie age again. I'm saying spend more time at home. That's all I'm saying. Spend more time at home. There ain't nothing out there to see. The computer can show you everything. I've spent a lot of money going on vacation with my wife. If you married, you know it's your duty to travel. And in telling you, most hotels just, and then I'm an engineer too. I know what build these buildings. And as I say, I'm from a colonial country. Whenever you go on vacation and the sun is beautiful and the food is lovely, ask yourself who rate the sun, who cooked the food, who raised the food. Did they get paid for their labor? Because at the end of the day, we do what we do for gratification, and you alone win. Because the man that profiting from the resource, he has to go and get his gratification from somewhere else. So in that transaction where greedy business people are holding races and countries hostage for vacation profit, and you alone benefit. He has to go somewhere else. The greedy man has to go somewhere else to do a transaction to trade in his money for his pleasure. So spend more time at home, people. Be mini kings. We can start the eras of mini kings, mini industrialism. When I was studying principle of business, it was called a backyard economy. I don't know what new terms they give for it in class now. But backyard economy, the different types of economy, you have really economy where in this type of economy, one society or one industry really depends on the next industry to survive. So and the money keeps circling around. And that happened to smaller country. Like in Jamaica, we realized that there was a bauxite plant and it was the only thing really making money and paying the workers, and then the workers go out and spend money and then rare and then you know what I mean? And based on really economy, regonomy, regonomy, the little that I learned in America, regonomy is real. If the rich man have more money, he is going to spend it. You understand me? If he has more money in his pocket, he will spend more. And for people who get up and go, I don't know, this is crazy because it's counterintuitive. If you get up and your boss profit and you make a profit, then ultimately your objective is to make sure your boss profit more. So when there is tax cut for wealthy people, you guys should kind of rejoice because it does cut. They're gonna spend on themselves, and themselves is you. You the one who stitch their clothes together, cook the food, raise the animal. So why would you think that there's not more for you to benefit? And if you see they're benefiting more from your labor, reduce your labor. Understand? What you may call it, studio people? That's the end of our introduction, our part one for now. We're gonna go on forever. We are gonna break the barrier on savings, and we're gonna create a new way of life. A new way of life that doesn't disrupt or disturb what they, so they have no need to trouble you. Understand me? And it all because I'm getting into fitness and health, and I see my wife struggle with consumerism. Consumerism. If we learn to consume properly, then we can grow properly. That's the trick to it. I'm not even bulge it out. I'm gonna blurt it out. We're still rolling. The trick to financial freedom is consumerism. I think that's gonna be the first title of our vlog for next episode. As I said, my name is Cassidy Codrington. I just open up my mind and let you in. I'm not always like this. As I said, we're gonna be with mostly outside, working with the earth, trying to recapture nature. I'm currently trying to figure out how to create an artificial environment around you, an artificial ecosystem that you can put yourself a part of. Okay, if the bird eat the fruits and shit the seed, the bugs and the seed use fertilizer make more apple tree, and then the bugs them can eat off that apple tree a distance away and feed the birds again, and then it, it just keeps going. So you have the bugs, the birds, and the apple tree. It's three of them. First, the are just the birds. You have the birds, the apple tree, the bugs, right? The bugs they live on the apple tree and they also eat the fruit. The birds they eat the apple seed and they fly around and they shit it somewhere else and the apple tree grow so that bugs in that area may have a home and food to eat. Now if you have an apple tree forest, you have a thriving society of bugs, insects that might attract lizards, other reptiles and stuff like that. And now there's a lizard, and the lizard lives on the apple tree and he eats some of the bugs. And every now and then the birds might eat a few baby lizards, and so everybody can. That's what an enclosed system is. Homesteaders in the early, that's what a homestead is, that's what a farm is. You capture society artificially. You feed the plants feed you back. So we're trying to do that in 2025. We're trying to enclose a system. We want to answer and debunk a lot of mystery. Like for right now, we're working on 1 acre, and I'm telling you, people, the logic I do because I did surveying the other day. Remember when they was cutting the land, they would have asked themselves, how much land can one family, how little land do one family need to be productive, and then they would have came up with an acre. So when you have an acre of land and you look around and you don't have anything on there to survive, it is crazy. I've only been in America for a couple of years, but I've seen COVID. Only people with backyard. I've seen the Texas freezing and stuff like that, where if you had trees on your property, you would have had firewood to save up anyway. If like you understand me, so my video didn't really stay on topic like how I hope. I couldn't really, you know what I mean? But this is Cassidy still, and I hope you enjoy our videos. I hope we start to think about consumerism and proper consumerism, and just know that everybody can win, and you don't have to eat or buy or use everything. You just need what's good for you and your homestead, and stay to yourself. Well, I'm sad. I know my video not gonna get any views because I rambled, but I hope we grow from here and stuff like that. Remember, like, subscribe. We're gonna have a lot of fun, people. And with our savings, as you know, you have to work as a man so your wife can travel the world and have fun. We're gonna have a lot of travel videos too, guys. So like, subscribe. Boom, I'm out.